And good afternoon, everyone. It's Tuesday, November 19th. We're ready to begin another Kelvin's Keys to Success and wanted to cover a couple of different things today. Number one, we'll be talking about things you can and cannot say. So that was a great Ida topic that Robin wanted me to cover a little bit about regarding, things at open house, or maybe you're talking to a prospect, and you don't want to be either a victim of being a potential DRE spy agent who's kind of just seeking realtors who are non-compliant or unethical. Secondly, you just want to just avoid any potential claims for litigation. And you do want to have a rehearsed, practiced script of areas that you should talk about and control the conversation to flow into your controlled conversation, things that you are willing and wanting to talk about, and kind of shying away or tactful ways, strategic ways to avoid certain topics and conversations. So I think that's a great, amazing discussion. And another component of what I want to talk about today, I just wanted to help you with some shopping. So I use a website that I love to share with you and show you that there's great sales going on right now, this whole month of November, regarding Black Friday specials and all the major and small retailers. They're all promoting certain products and things, and I find it very worthwhile not only to buy myself personal, not personal, business equipment or laptops or notebooks or even a cell phone or something. You want to upgrade your own technology, even programs or platforms. There's a lot of sales going on that are apps that you can get subscribed to slash improve your productivity. And I think it'll be worthwhile to explore some of the deals. Secondly, you can purchase stuff for your clients. You can purchase stuff for yourself and your family. There's some really good shopping that you can do, not only just for client appreciation gifts, things that you could write off, things from our marketing, but I also like to cover things that you can, you can even use it for your own early holiday Christmas season shopping. So if you plan ahead and shop smart, you can also save a little bit. And I think that's very savvy of you guys as independent contractors trying to find various deductions against your income. So with that said, if any of you have any questions, you feel free to speak out or chat in the box. So, the first one we're going to talk about is regarding open houses and what you should be wary and cautious not to say or discuss during your open houses, because you never know, a stranger is either some sort of competitor, maybe they are someone that is working for the DRE investigator, or thirdly, and I don't know if you thought about this, there are times I've heard of sellers sending in their own spies to see how you talk and operate as a open house agent. And so if you're if you're in that mindset of being cautious and doing the right thing and being ethical and staying on the right side of your professionalism, great, because you have nothing to be worried about. So to me, if you're at an open house and you're always just being your professional, prepared, and you're always just sticking to your duties and your script and your loyalty to the original client, which is usually your seller, and that to me is, then you have nothing to be afraid of what you say if you're always giving your loyalty to your client and being clear in how you communicate. So, with that said, you never know any stranger who pops into an open house. It's public. Anyone can research and find the available open houses on a Saturday or Sunday or any day, and they could just pop right in. And some people tend to feel, we're in LA. We're Los Angeles is a true melting pot of America. So many different ethnicities and race and ages and protected classes. So, because we're in Los Angeles in a very diverse background, And you should always stray away and avoid topics regarding religion, regarding anything discriminatory or ethnic. And to me, that's the easiest way is to avoid any claims, is to avoid certain topics. So let me start with the California topics right here. I pulled this up in really big letters that I want you to understand. California has the most protected classes of any other state in America. We have things regarding race. You cannot speak anything regarding, and to me, there it's always like, oh, the number one thing I've heard is, oh, I walked into an open house and the Asian agent, I know those words sound very similar. The Asian agent didn't talk to me at all. They avoided me. They didn't even say one word or greeted me. Maybe they're discriminating against me because I don't speak their language, and they're steering the buyers to be only other people that speak their language. So that's one area where a shy Asian agent, avoid this. You should greet every single individual, give them the same welcome, give them the same, what you call, give them the same respect that they deserve for taking time out of their day to visit your open house. So welcome them. Even you don't speak a certain language that well, just say hello and then wave and then give a smile. And obviously, I as your broker encourage you to speak English and learn it, because if you're going to live here and work here, you might as well improve your communication skills. It'll get you so much farther in life and personal and business, everything. So greet everyone. That's my first piece of advice. Give them a consistent welcome with a nice big smile, and let your body language also show that you're open and welcome. So I've heard agents, even at agent open houses, and they kind of sometimes say, "Oh, ni jiangguoyu," or they say, "Oh, where are you from?" And it could be very innocent. The Asian looking person, they're just trying to figure out, "Oh, are you Korean, Japanese, Chinese, or Taiwanese, or whatever it is?" And so they want to just for their own curiosity, ask that question. Oh, where are you from? Where are you originally coming? Or, all that stuff is, to me, unnecessary. Okay. To me, your curiosity should be controlled. You sh just avoid asking where they're from unless you get into a familiar communication status and maybe they become your clients. And then you can have maybe some further discussions on a personal level or if you're at lunch. But to me, it's always best to avoid that background check. Okay. Because people get offended, and some people are very sensitive or private in California, and they don't want to release where they're from, or they don't want to share that. And they don't want to even have to go through the exercise of how do I dodge this question, or how do I ignore you politely. So to prevent such awkwardness, why don't you just don't ask those questions? At least you control yourself. Okay. You may not control the other party because the public is not governed by the Department of Real Estate. A non-licensee can ask whatever questions they want. They can be as rude as they want, and probably can pretty much get away with anything except for a real felony or crime. They can really much have the freedom of speech to say anything. Physical disability is another area of protected class that you should be very, very cautious of. Anytime I see someone who is on a wheelchair, or someone who's having difficulty walking, or even they might look completely fine and normal, but they have some sort of other mental disability or weaknesses, or maybe they just, for example, they look completely normal, but they could be, forgetful, schizophrenic, bipolar, or who knows what. And they are super sensitive that anything you say could potentially make them feel stressed out or discriminated against. So If you see someone with a disability, offer some help. Offer them, hey, there's be helpful or mindful. Hey, there is two steps over here on the entry. Do you need any help with anything? There's a handrail right here, and kind of be, to me, accommodating. Okay. So I let them know, there are some interior steps, or there is going to be a second floor stairway. Is that something you feel comfortable doing? And I just, ask and be very courteous, and I will watch and observe because you never know. There has been cases of in people walking the stairway intentionally tripping and falling and causing a potential claim. So you should have be a witness to the open house that you're staging or holding because the seller is accounting on you to be watching what's going on when they're not home and you're the authorized person opening these doors. You should be knowing what's going on inside that house. And if you cannot control the flow of traffic, then you bring partners or you be a control person inside and lock the you control the flow and say let one party in at a time and make the other people wait. If you think that you have a situation of too many people, you have the right to control the flow for safety. Okay. Now, marital status is a very another person. I don't tend to get into the nitty and gritty and say, "Oh, are you single or married?" and try to look at their ring and see if they have married or not. And the only reason why I really suggest that is because I don't even want you to be getting to the point of being sexual harassment. I don't want you to even thinking about them thinking, "Oh, he's asking if I'm single because he wants to hit on me." And that kind of stuff always, I don't know, everyone seems to be extra ultra sensitive and thinks that a question is intentfully deceitful or trying to gain something from you. And it could be just an innocent question, but I'm just telling you, it's not necessary for you to ask how they're if they're married or not. Okay? Now, the gender, there's a whole new thing regarding gender. And there's now not only is there a male and a female, there is a binary who's someone who identifies as non-binary just means I don't identify as a male or a female. So they just kind of have their own and there's also transgender, which is over here. And these are categories that are very unique to California because we do recognize, for example, LGBTQ rights and marriages in California. So, to each their own. So I just avoid topics on that. It's very simple. So the colors, same as your just race. Don't make remarks. Oh, you're especially light or you're especially dark or this and that. Just you should not make comments on this. Religion is also another thing. And I'd say even to add to this, don't even talk about politics in your open houses. Okay? So let's add politics and religion as something as a non-topic at your open houses. The only thing I can say is political that you can say is, oh, okay. For example, back in 2012, who was our president back then? There was a first-time home buyer program, and you
Yeah,
could
that was
say
Obama, I believe,
Obama.
2012. I think
Okay,
so.
then yeah. So then Obama, you could say yeah. President Obama this year came out with a first-time home buyer program. Yeah, that's the only time you can talk about politics is if it's relevant to real estate. Maybe there's a program or a first-time home buyer kind of thing going on, or special financing or stuff like that. That then you can talk about the political person who put this in place. Ancestry, same thing along with race and ethnicity. You don't really have to talk about anything regarding their lineage. So medical condition is also something you cannot discriminate against. Genetic information. This is too detailed, and I don't think that's uh, uh, too common. So it's easy to avoid that. And then you also want to consider your age and military veteran status. And when I mean protected classes, these are also protected classes that you cannot use against them when you screen a tenant. So if you should never use any of these as reasons for um denying a tenant who wants to apply for your listing lease. Okay. And so given that we have learned all of the California state and federal classes that are protected, I didn't, I think it's pretty straightforward, but I don't want to say this is common sense. I want to answer and see if you have a question on anything or how to phrase, or if you have a question, you want to test me and see how I answer it, please, this is the time.
I have a comment.
Sure.
Uh, one of the last two open houses I did, it was a mixed couple.
Okay.
It was a same gender couple, and it was just it seemed normal to me. There was no issue or problem with me, and it didn't end up working out that lease listing was working because it had to be put on hold. But it just seemed normal talking to this couple, and they had a little 9-month-old baby, and they were just really happy, gracious people. I didn't. There was no issues.
Yeah,
There was
there
no
isn't.
issue. No issues whatsoever. It's like, okay, you want to buy a house? You could look like Godzilla. I don't. I'll treat you the same.
Yeah. The only color that's important to me is your color of your money green.
Yeah, it's
And does
green.
it pay the
So
landlord and does it everyone happy?
yeah, and it didn't seem they were cool. I was cool, and I'm really sorry that it didn't work out. But so I've already had that dealt with that, and I'm all right with it.
Good. I'm glad that it shouldn't bother you.
No, not at
People
all.
live their own lives and they're entitled to who they are and
Yeah,
whatever they feel like and who they like and not like and whatever. That's just their own personal thing. I get out of other people's business. I have way more important things to focus and worry about than someone else's preferences.
exactly. I just want to go to the bank and then work with the next family and on and on and on and on and on. So,
So I have a comment, may I?
Yeah.
Okay, so Robin, that's a good topic. Hey Robin, it's Sylvia.
hi, Miss Sylvia.
Hey there. Okay, so I would stay away from saying in public because this is also a recorded video. All I want to work is with family. So we really want to stay away from saying family because that could also be classified. It could be interpreted. We're in a very, very different world, very, very sensitive. And I've been researching a lot about HSP. It's not a diagnosed medical illness, but it is a reality of what we're experiencing right now with a lot of folks in the industry in regards to how they feel about a lot of things. So
Sure,
early on in 2006, when I first got into this industry, um, the word family was used, and there was a domestic, same-sex partnership that came in and said that person didn't lease to me because XYZ, which was not true. But I know that we get caught up in conversations. So I like what Kelvin, you used a word earlier, relevant. I use that a lot when I get cornered into conversations. I ask anyone, like, how is this relevant to what we're doing right now? How is this relevant to any decision making we need to do right now? So I just put it back on them, and usually that works at least 95% of the time. But we are in a hypersensitive time right now to the point where people are paying attention to anything. Your hair color, your lenses are too big, or you know um, your hand nails, your shoes. People are just paying attention to a lot of detail that it didn't seem like it was, you know, it didn't seem like it was relevant to anything, but people are making it relevant to how they feel. So bringing it back to real estate, back to open houses, same thing. Oh, you're dressed so super nice. The last open house I went to, they were dressed like XYZ. They look really sloppy. Well, I'm glad that you feel good. How can I help you?
Yeah.
So pull it back, bring it back to where they're at right there, and don't aid it, don't fuel it, don't add, fuel to the fire, because someone else that may be walking in hearing that conversation will go to another open house and say, the realtor that was hosting there had this conversation, made me feel so uncomfortable. They were talking to some buyers and XYZ, and it gets blown out of proportion. And
That's a
Kelly,
good idea. That's good that you're saying that because they're
yeah,
listening. They could be
yeah.
outside and hear that.
Yes, because third party conversation, somebody's not even a part of your conversation, is just as much of a party if it ever came to a legal issue. So, just own who you are. Somebody comes in, makes a comment saying, "Oh, you're wearing," I'll give you an example. I went to go see a caravan. I was mentoring another agent. I walk in and she says, "Oh, you're dressed so nice," and I'm wearing flip flops and I'm a mess and my hair's a mess and I didn't prepare to come to my open house. But I said, "Slow down a little bit. Let's take a deep breath. Why don't you tell me a little bit about the house?" So those are just overcoming obstacles because some people, when they see someone else, they try to measure up to that person or measure down to that person, and that's not appropriate. Sharon, I see Sharon here. Anyone, you know, dress how you want to dress and own it. I love how Kelvin wears a cap and he wears his shirt like that. You know what? What I'm interested in is his brain, which he has a lot of knowledge in that brain. So, I can have a broker that's wearing a three-piece suit, but what is he going to do for me? So for me, I always ground myself to bringing it back. Many times I'll use myself as an example. Oh, you're dressed like you're going to a fashion show. And I'll say, like, yes, didn't you know life is a runway? How can I help you? So sometimes you can try and make humor at it or whatever and try to, I won this cup in one of our classes that we had here, and I love it. Or actually, Mark won it, and he gave it to me, and this was funny. And it says closing deals and high heels. That's right. And I have proven. I've proven. I have proven numbers for it. So you know, let's just bring ourselves back to why we're doing what we're doing. And Robin, I love going door knocking with you.
Yes, I love it.
You saw how you and I walked up to a door, and after we
Yes.
got the doorbell, because we were conversation, and I'm like, "Oops, it says no soliciting," and we walk away. Like in my head, I'm thinking, "Run! Here comes the owner on the side of the driveway.
Yeah.
Can I help you?" And I'm like, "I'm so sorry, sir. I didn't realize that you had a sign that said no solicitation." But he took interest in us,
Yeah.
and we spent conversation at length, but we made it very
15 minutes. We talked to him for 15 minutes in his front yard.
or yeah, or it felt like longer, but we learned a wealth of information from him. How many properties he's got. We learned so much from him, and he was so welcoming, welcomed us back. But again, it's how we conduct ourselves, how we approach ourselves. If we would have stood there and probably kept annoying and ringing the doorbell and ignored the sign, he would have had a most likely different approach. He may have called the police. So I appreciate that topic that you brought up, Kelvin, because again, what I would personally would love for people to walk away here with is the word relevant.
So let's get into a little bit of a script and practice. And to me, it's good to have preparation. So there's many types of preparation when you're doing your open house, and not only is it kind of memorizing your own script, but you're also kind of fact checking the data and the property itself. Okay. So before you do your and hold your open house, you should kind of drive the neighborhood. You should probably preview the interior beforehand and know where your exits are, know the safety things that's going on with the property, if there's any potential trip hazards or stairways or areas of valuables. Those are things to always consider in terms of your preparation so that you can avoid, theft or robbery, trip and falls. You can know where the escape routes are. All that stuff is super valuable. Getting into this, the facts of the property and the details and characteristics of the floor plan. Figure out what is your two or three selling points. Okay. Every property has a selling point, even if it's a dilapidated shack that has been basically ripped and gutted apart. What would be that selling point? It's probably
Location.
location. It could be location great. It could be priced to sell, an attractive price. It could be what you call something that's full of potential. and it also has its land value. Okay. So even an ugly looking property home that's been neglected has selling points. So you need to memorize and hit on those selling points. And I guarantee you that's probably the reason why that visitor is at that open house is because of one of the selling points. And hopefully you've offered and showed and shared with them two or three other items that they did not consider. Maybe they were only fixated on the attractive looking price, but they didn't know that the lot size has the potential to add an ADU. That's one example. So, so know what your selling points are when you prepare, and then you put it together on a script. So here's my script and a greeting for any random property. Welcome, everyone. Hi, everyone. I'm Kelvin Chang. I am the listing agent for ABC Main Street here in Alhambra. I'm so thankful and appreciative that you come out to our open house. This is our first open house weekend, and you're in luck. And I can throw in some question or I can throw in some kind of. I always say you're in luck. You happen to be coming at the perfect time where I did have a big wave of people that just came by, but I have some time that I can really spend more time with you and to answer any of your questions if you'd like me to. Do you mind? The seller has a little sign-in sheet here that which the seller requests every visitor to please sign in here. And whether or not you have a realtor. If you do have a realtor, you could put their name in here and I can follow up with them directly. If you have any interest or any questions, um, you should speak to your own real estate agent. Um, but if you have anything about the property itself or anything that I can help you with, I don't mind at least listening and seeing if there's any questions I can help you with other than things regarding negotiability about the property. Um, Another way I phrase things is I would say things something like, hi everyone, I'm Kelvin Chang and I am not your agent. Okay.
Yeah.
And then that's just I smile and I say, but I could be if you feel like we're a good fit, but my job today, I'm here to sell this property at 123 Main Street. It's an amazing property. It's wonderful for X, Y, and Z reasons. This particular property happens to be a very well-maintained property that still has many unique original characteristics. So it's kind of like a blank canvas ready to be designed and improved and remodeled to your tastes and preferences. I love the fact that it has high ceilings or it has a very large lot size or it has a really great floor plan that that is just that is that has the bones to really make this a great home. And so those are, you have to think about what your X, Y, and Z reasons are. And I will expand on those reasons with some factor of data. Or this is a lot size greater than 6,500 square feet. And therefore, it's a good candidate for an ADU if you have over 6,500 square feet per county floor area ratios and all the measurements they use is the lot size. Now, if you're in a specific or the listing agent and the seller, you guys have specific knowledge, it would be great to have a little bit more detail, like, oh, we have a newer roof. It was just installed last year in 2023. And the owner also installed this water softener system in the garage. That's something that most people forget that has a lot of value. There's also has a it has a whatever they it improved the copper plumbing or PVC plumbing, whatever it is. They did this in 2019. And these details separate you from just an average agent who's reading off of a list. I hope you're just not, and I really do hope you're not just giving a list from the MLS. Put together some of your own design flyers or use the Co-Banker marketing department. That Moxie Impress has really beautiful flyers that you can customize. And ultimately, you're there to sell the property and hopefully build and share details and features get to the point of hopefully this client sees the value in you that you're responsible, professional, ethical, uh, you know, easy to talk to. and you also a solution maker. You can solve problems, you can point them in the right direction. You have a strong network of I have an attorney for this, or I have a repairman for that, or electrician for them. These are all things that like you pull out of your pocket as you need. The more resourceful you are, the more people will gravitate to you, and you'll be um you'll be a person, a point of contact. Oh, like, Kelvin has a guy for everything. He's so this and that. So to me, it's just nice to have the ability to refer and know qualified people in that are experts or specialists in their fields. So after your script, sometimes I'll even ask the question like, you know, would you like me to give you the grand full tour and go through all the details, or would you prefer to tour the property on your own? And I give the choice to them. It's not one or the other. So I can kind of gauge what kind of person they are. If they choose to go alone, then that tells me that they probably have their own agent, or they're just a looky-loo neighbor or something like that. If they ever choose to ask you to help them or show them or speak about the property, then they're giving you the green light to ask them questions. They're giving you the green light to build some rapport because while you are sharing information about the property, they are basically screening you as an agent to see if you're professional, how you talk and conversate, and they want to ask you questions. And so they're giving a green light for you to have a healthy conversation about real estate. Keep it about real estate, guys. And during that conversation when you're showing, you should bring up the fact, oh, by the way, do you have your own real estate agent already? How long have you been shopping for a property? And if they tell me more than 6 months, I'll sound surprised. More than 6 months and you haven't found the home yet? And then I say, I'll give them some background. I say, well, yeah, I know it's tough. There's a lot of limited inventory. It's been tight. Or I'll give some excuses about, I know it's hard because the financing and interest rates are so high recently this past year. Um, but sometimes I dangle a little bit, but I've been able to get a lot of my clients, into a house very, relatively quickly. It's been very smooth. And those are things you want to communicate out when you are trying to hopefully you're screening, someone's interviewing you while you're on the job. And I hope you do add a few questions where you're pre-qualifying them. Okay. So it's back and forth. When you give some answers about the property and questions they have, like, why is the seller selling? It's just every buyer who joins me on my grand tour, they're gonna ask me, why are they selling? And I don't give a real direct answer. I leave it general. Okay. So I don't say, oh, the seller's financially in terrible, this and that, or they're elderly or they're deceased. You know, I usually leave it a very generic kind of answer, but it's something that to prepare for because they're all going to ask that. They're going to ask you, oh, is this why? Oh, they're going to say, oh, this price is so high. Is there any room for negotiation? And they're going to ask it in that kind of phrase. And how do you respond to that? How do you react to the question on, is there any negotiability on this price? And or is the seller willing to take this or that kind of term? And so it's my idea is always best never to give a concrete answer. Better to say, that's a great question. I don't have a clear answer if they will take that price because quite frankly, um, it it's it has that question hasn't been asked yet. Why don't you put that on an offer? I'm not opposed to your suggestion. Put it on an offer, and then I'll be happy to present it and discuss it with the owner. So To me, I always want to say everything is negotiable because it is negotiable. But I want them to put it in on paper. I usually don't like to give verbal answers on direct questions. Okay. So now the one area you have to be cautious about is the Department of Real Estate auditor spies that will maybe potentially be visiting your open houses. I have heard of some of them visiting, and they are seeking and answering a few type of questions. And I'm not exactly sure where what is the most common mistake agents are making, but um, number one is you should always phrase things and ask if they're being represented or they have their own agent. You should also ask if you're going to talk about negotiability or terms about the property. You're better off saying, do you mind I am working this open house and I do want to spend quality time with you. Do you mind if we have this conversation and set an appointment? And that way you can kind of follow up and kind of gauge that client, whether they are real, if they release their true information to you, name and phone number and email, and so that way I can get back to them on the answer. Okay. But they could be asking questions to kind of put you in a corner. And so they may be asking specific questions regarding discriminatory type or protected classes and seeing if you fall for the bait. Okay. And I hope as long as you stick to avoiding these conversations, oh, Kelvin, this is an Asian community, isn't this? Can you tell me about the neighbors? Are they Chinese? And if you answer this question, you have been trapped. Okay? You've been trapped. And I have had this direct exact question asked to me, not by an auditor. It's just a concerned person who wants to live in a Asian background neighborhood versus whatever it is. And they asked it to me, and I always answered this. I say, that's a good question. Unfortunately, my license does not allow me to talk about anything regarding race or ethnicity. I'm sorry. But if this is important to you, you are welcome to stay here as long as I'm doing the open house. I'm here from 3 to 5 o'clock. You're welcome to drive around or talk to some of the other neighbors who aren't licensees, and you can ask them about how they like living here and the questions you have about the community. Does that sound fair? And I just redirect them and I give them a solution. I tell them how they can do what they want to do, which is screen the community. Okay. So I tell them, well, if that's what you want to do, and if you're interested on your neighbors, why don't you stick around here sometime between 5 and 7 p.m. That's when most people come home, and you'll be able to see everyone that comes in. Okay. So that's how I strategically answered that question regarding how is this community and the makeup of it.
Calvin, can I share?
Yeah.
So I had someone show up at one of our open house with Mark and I in Altadena, and the woman walks in and at a broker caravan. So she came in without her agent. I asked her, I said, do you have a business card? No, I don't. Are you an agent? No, I'm not. Do I need my agent? I said, well, it is a broker caravan and it's exclusive just to agents, licensees. Are you represented? Yes, I am. She says, all I want to know is there any blacks that live on this block? And I said, I'm sorry, I don't think I clearly understand your question. You say you have an agent? Yes. Who's your agent? She says, I just want to know if there's any black people here. And I said, who's your agent? And then she gave me the name of the agent. I knew the agent. I said, can we step aside? All the other brokers and people were like looking at me like, how is she going to handle this? So I went ahead and pulled her to the side. I called the agent. I had her phone number. I said, your buyer is at my broker caravan. The first words that came out of this agent's mouth was, is she in trouble? I said, potentially she can be. Can you please educate her on what not to be asking? And she said, did she ask XYZ? I said, yes. She said, okay, I'll call her. So she called her. Then she comes in. Then She comes in and asks me in a secret, so is there any Black people here? And I said, ma'am, I can't answer that question. You really need to talk to your agent. The fair housing violation, I'm a licensee, I can lose my license. I'm here to sell this property. I'm not here to inform you who lives here. So you can go on Google, you can Google whatever you want, use a public platform, but I cannot answer any of those questions.
She
After
was
she
trying to trip you up. I think she was trying to trip you up to see if you'd answer it.
could be not, but what did happen was the other brokers did come up to me and say, well handled, good job, blah, blah, blah. She's come to my open house, so she's been around.
Okay.
Yeah,
Didn't mean to interrupt.
no worries.
Any other questions on your mind regarding discriminatory things that you were not sure how to ask? Because this I'm just here to teach you how to properly respond.
I would like to ask, say, if I am hosting your open house and I'm representing the seller, so do I have that leeway to say, can I give you a tour of the house, knowing that that's a buyer if they don't have an agent, or should I, if you'd
So
like
I
to,
would, in your situation, if you're hoping
yes,
for another dynasty agent, I would respond something like, "Hi everyone, welcome to ABC Main Street. My name is Robin, and I am working with the listing Sylvia Ramos on this lovely property. She's asked me to really help and share any information and the property, and I have permission to sh tour the property with you. Um, do you mind going ahead? The owner does request for all visitors to sign the sign-in sheet." After they sign in, and I say, well, how can I help you today? Are you, I'll ask them, obviously I'll ask them about if they already have an agent or not, because
yes,
in the sign-in sheet. And then I would probably add on something like, um, well, just to let you know that this property does have some activity. There is if you do know some what's called information from the listing agent, there is a deadline this coming week. Offers hopefully should be in by then, and I would love to help you get any information or background that I can for you. Would you like the grand tour, or you want to walk and tour it alone? And and then based upon that, I'm kind of giving the impression that I'm working not I never say I'm this listing agent, and I never said that I'm working for the seller. In this situation, I'm
okay,
working with permission with Sylvia as the listing agent
okay,
to share the flyer and to open the doors and to give a tour. And I'm a real estate professional. You can say I've been real estate for X years, and or I can say I've been this X city is my specialty or territory that I've been working here and lived here for X 10 years or whatever, to make have the impression that I'm very knowledgeable or experienced in a certain vicinity. And and then if they ask me a direct question, then I'll answer the truth. They'll say, "Are you the listing agent?" And I'll say, "Oh no, I'm not the listing agent."
Mhm.
He and I'll give an excuse. Sylvia Ramos is the listing agent, but
yes,
she does have I do most of her open houses, and in fact, and she can say, and she has a preference not to be here doing this open house and representing buyers because she is working for the seller. So, you know, you can have that upfront discussion with the person giving you the authority, and they'll let you say what you want to say just to hopefully get a buyer.
I like that much better than, oh, okay, being afraid to say something because you don't know if you were being scoped by,
Yeah.
you
So
know.
if they ask you, are
I
you?
really like that.
Yeah. So you use it. That's
Oh, I will, guaranteed I will.
prepared script. And usually and this is some listing agents are like that. They don't want to represent buyers, and then there are very valid reasons why you shouldn't be a dual agent in California. That's something that potentially, in I would say 5 or 8 years, it potentially could be illegal. Okay, with all the
Thank
Department
you.
of Justice and all the settlements and lawsuits, they potentially might make dual agency, unethical.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised, but thank
So,
you. That's a great answer. I am going to use that definitely.
and yeah, if there are not any questions, let's go shopping, guys. Any other questions?
Yeah, Kelvin, one more question.
Yep.
And if the one doesn't have a license, can they hold a open house?
A non-licensee can
Mm-hmm.
hold an open house, but cannot
Mm-hmm.
speak regarding anything regarding that the duties of a real estate licensee professional can say.
Mm-hmm.
So negotiability about the price or the terms of the sale should not cannot be said by a non-licensee.
Or the
So
square
it's
footage.
very common to where a lender or an escrow officer or title rep, they will clearly say, I'm holding the open house for XYZ person, and I'm not a licensee. I'm here simply to pass out the flyer. I'm here to talk about mortgages or title or escrow. And if you have questions regarding my specialty, I'm happy to help you. But they're not supposed to talk about the specifics of the property. Only what's on the flyer sheet can be mentioned, like, oh, this is a 2,000 square feet home. It's a single family or a condominium, and the HOA is 217 because that's on the flyer. You can give data that's on the flyer.
And
Okay.
also, it is the title information can search around that area. What is the percentage of the people who live around that area?
Are you talking about their background ethnically or financially or what?
For nationality.
Okay, so the race.
Yeah. Is it the title company have this information to provide it if we
I believe the
request?
title company can sort by race,
Mm-hmm.
but that's only by those people who've allowed their race to be revealed as something of class, something that they've given consent.
Mm-hmm.
To me, if you're looking for a specific data on race, probably the U.S. Census Bureau would be the best website for a population of a city.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're looking at a specific street, or a neighborhood, I think you can pull up all the APN numbers in the area and go by their last names, but um, it's it's not something that the title companies, they're held by the same standards as us, in which race shouldn't be something that they discuss as well, or
Yeah.
or sort or categorize by.
Yeah. If like I have a buyer, they may concern about the area. Is it more Asian live in that area? So when they ask me, can
Give
I?
them the same answer I told you. I
Exactly.
said,
We
why
Yeah.
had
don't
that
you
session.
come at a weekday from 5 to 7 p.m. and that's when majority people are coming back home,
Mhm.
and you see
Okay.
for yourself the neighbors, or you talk to the neighbors, because I, as a professional real estate licensee, cannot talk about race.
Okay. Got it.
And you, as
Yeah.
a non-licensee, can talk whatever you want with whoever you want.
Okay. Sure. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Go. Thank you.
Now, being resourceful does not mean giving every answer. Being resourceful means giving the answers that you are allowed legally to take, but it also means keeping your license. So
Yeah.
I just would hate for you to be being asked that and you give the answer to a potential DRE auditor.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Got it. Thank you.
so, and not even just a DRE auditor, there's people out there who are attorneys, who are ambulance chasers seeking to get realtors in trouble and making a claim.
Mhm.
So, to me, I check this website often. It's called slickdeals.net. And if you are someone, and Kelvin, they go, Kelvin, how come you get all these good deals and you buy all this, to me, it's just because I saved this on my front page, because this is a community of people who post something that is on sale, a good value or something. And it's a wide, eclectic bunch of categories like technology, video games, laptops, or Even if you want to open up a credit card, they'll tell you who has giving the best deals on points. And so if you're looking for in something like for the home, there's some cool stuff like this. And I love the fact that you can search by category or type in exactly what you're looking for. So if you're shopping this Black Friday or for Christmas, I mean, this is where you can get a lot of cool different things or ideas that you never probably thought of. And you'll find different deals on things that to me, I buy a lot of stuff that I didn't think I needed. And like for example, a kitchen probe is very important to have. If you're a barbecuer like me, I like having an instant read a thermometer so I can know exactly how hot my prime rib or which you'll see next week. I use a probe to get my grilled smoked, what am I doing? A brisket. So um, a Moen Keris chrome faucet, I have this exact one at home. And $59 for this faucet is very cheap. If you want a good faucet, I have it. I'll endorse it. So there's a lot of cool things that you'll never think you needed or didn't know you'll upgrade. But to me, it's worthwhile because you'll find client gifts or, hey, I think it's really cute. And I check it right before closing and I want to buy something for my client. I can find them something like a platform bed. I can get them a tool set. This is only one category of home. Okay. I even saw if those of you who want one of those robotic what are they called? Robotic cleaners for your vacuums.
Oh, a Roomba.
Uh, yeah, I saw one for less than $200
Oh no.
and it was
It's
that
probably
was
gone by now.
maybe it's gone because it's not here right now.
Robin bought the last one.
Yeah, really. I probably have it on hold.
Anyway, oh here it is. Robo Rock. This is not the Roomba one, but they have $140. Okay. And so that's a good deal for one. Someone else was asking me for a laptop. And so I found them and they were very happy because I found them a really good deal. So if you're looking for laptops and computers, personally, there's different ones available. I thought there was if you're looking for an Inspirant, this is a good business laptop. It's $500. There was an Idea Pad 3, which is more of a budget one, but it had all the bells and whistles you need for productivity. And this one was at Best Buy. The Slim 3 right here. It has a 512 SSD plus 16 gigs of memory for $429 at Walmart. That's not a bad deal as well. And so if to me, all you would need to do if you're looking for something like an Apple iPhone or something like that, you can even go and find different types of deals regarding it'll pop up and I actually add a watch list on things that I want to buy. So so I add this deal. Like my son wanted Hot Wheels a long time ago, so I just type in Hot Wheels toys and then it gives me an email every time a really good deal regarding my search it pops up. So I want to just show you where to shop if in case you're looking for yourself for some business expenses or new technology. Um, I do kind of just peruse here once in a while, almost every other day, because my son always likes toys and I don't want to pay full MSRP for toys. So I look for stuff for him to get busy. Um, so anyway, just letting you guys know that this is available. Like Pikachu Light Bright, that's kind of cute for $13. You'll never know what you'll find in here, but to me, um, when you go down and you uh just come with someone like, $10, $15 gift and you see a person you haven't seen in a couple of months, that person just loves you so much more when you have something thoughtful that you've been able to share with them. This is pretty good. I like the TP-Link decos. If you haven't upgraded your Wi-Fi to Wi-Fi 7, this is a really pretty good deal for the newest Wi-Fi, a three-band system. And oh, this is a really good game. Carcassonne. Um,
What is
what
it about?
what?
What's
This
that
is
game about?
a German award-winning board game
Oh,
where you use tiles to build castles and cities. and I have it at home. It's one of my favorites. It's kind of like up there with Settlers of Catan. This is a go-to game that if you have a gamers like, that like to do game night, I it's fun. It's easy.
Nice.
It's not too competitive. But anyway, you'll find a lot of good stuff. From computers all the way down to deals for a large two-topping pizza. Okay. So check it out. And I just wanted to point one thing in because I do find in a time of an economy where everything is so expensive and inflated on prices, why not save when I can save and still get the good stuff? Okay,
Okay.
that's it for today. It's 3 o'clock. Enjoy the rest. I won't see you for next two weeks from now is going to be Thanksgiving. Actually, no, it's gonna be yeah. Is it Thanksgiving week? Anyway,
Yes,
I'll see you
it is.
next time.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye,
Calvin.
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, guys.